morning. This is Pastor Jeff, and we're here for our daily lectionary readings. This is for Thursday, March 21st, 2024. With it being Thursday, we are looking ahead to church on Sunday, which happens to be Palm Sunday already. Psalm 118, 1-2, and 19 through 29 is going to be our psalm reading. Our Old Testament reading is coming from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verses 1-8. And then our New Testament reading comes from the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 1-11. We are going to be reading it out of the Message. The Message creates as far as more of a story, and so our psalm reading is going to extend a verse or two each way. So Psalm 118. Thank God, because he is good, because his love never quits. Tell the world, Israel, his love never quits. And you, clan of Aaron, tell the world, his love never quits. And you who fear God, join in. His love never quits. I didn't die. I lived. And now I'm telling the world what God did. God tested me. He pushed me hard, but he didn't hand me over to death. Swing wide the city gates, the righteous gates. I'll walk right through and thank God. This temple God belongs to God, so the victors can enter and praise. Thank you for responding to me. You're truly become my salvation. The stone the masons discarded as flawed is now the capstone. This is God's work. We rub our eyes. We can hardly believe it. This is the very day that God acted. Let's celebrate and be festive. Salvation now. God, salvation now. Oh yes, God, a free and full life. Blessed are you who enter into God's name. From God's house we bless you. God is God. He has bathed us in the light. Adorn the shrine with garlands. Hang colored banners above the altar. You're my God, and I thank you. Oh my God, I lift high your praise. Thank God, he's so good. His love never quits. Our Old Testament reading is Deuteronomy 16, 1-8. Observe the month of Abib, my celebrating the promise to God, your God. It was in the mouth of Abib that God, your God, delivered you by night from Egypt. Over the Passover, sacrifice to God, your God, at the place God chooses to be worshipped by establishing his name there. Don't eat yeast bread with it. For 7 days eat it with unraised bread, hard time bread, because you left Egypt in a hurry. That bread will keep the memory fresh of how you left Egypt as long as you live. There is to be no sign of yeast anywhere for 7 days, and don't let any of the meat that you sacrifice in the evening be left over until morning. Don't sacrifice the Passover in any of the towns that God, your God, gives you, other than the one God, your God, designates for worship. There and there only you will offer the Passover sacrifice at the evening as the sun goes down, making the time that you left Egypt. Boil and eat it at the place designated by God, your God. Then at daybreak, turn around and go home. Eat unraised bread for 6 days. Set aside the 7th day as a holiday. Don't do any work. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 1-11. If you've gotten anything at all out of following Christ, if his love has made any difference in your life, if being in a community of the Spirit means anything to you, if you have a heart, if you care, then do me a favor. Agree with each other. Love each other. Be deep-spirited friends. Don't push your way up to the front. Don't sweet talk your way at the top. Put yourself aside. Help others get ahead. Don't be obsessed with getting your own advantage. Forget yourself long enough to lend a helping hand. Think of yourself the way Christ Jesus thought of himself. He had equal status with God, but didn't think so much of himself that he had to cling to the advantages of the status, no matter what. Not at all. When the time comes, he sets aside the privilege of deity and took on the status of a slave, became human. Having become human, he stayed human. It was an incredibly humbling process. He didn't claim special privileges. Instead, he lived a selfless, obedient life and then died a selfless, obedient death, and the worst kind of death at that, crucifixion. Because of the obedience, God lifted him high and honored him far beyond anyone or anything ever, so that all created beings in heaven and on earth, even those long ago dead and buried, will bow and worship before this Jesus Christ and call out in praise that he is the master of all, to the glorious honor of God the Father. And here ends our readings for the day.